Hello lovely people. Did you know that Atoto makes not only head units, but subwoofers, amplifiers, and speakers as well? So in this video we will be checking out their coax driver, which has a model number of CS-651DC. First of all, I would like to thank Atoto for sending me this for testing. In this video, I'm gonna open it up just to show you how they look like. We will install this in the car. We will take RTA measurements. We're gonna try tuning it. I'm gonna tell you what is the difference between how a component and a coax sounds, because these are coax. We're gonna put them in the front doors. And in general, I'm gonna tell you my impressions. Now, in the upcoming video, what we're gonna do is we're gonna compare these with a recoil, and we're gonna do proper objective measurements. We're gonna put these speakers in the baffle, we're gonna take the sweeps, we're gonna check distortion, impulse, and all that kind of stuff. On Amazon in the UK, they cost about £130. So it's kind of not really budget, but kind of a normal price. In the US, probably it's gonna be, I don't know, 150 or something. Let's open it up, let's see what's inside. And there we have it. To be honest, when I took them out, they look very nice. They look gorgeous. I didn't expect from Atoto, from a brand that's known doing only head units, that they can do something. Probably you're gonna say, oh, it's Chinese, cookie cutter design and stuff. I don't know. Have you seen this basket before? It is weird. It has a very chunky magnet. Now these speakers are rated, you can see 60 watts RMS, made in China, designed by Atoto, and they are heavy, especially compared to the budget recoils. Now they are apparently 93 dB sensitive, it's written on the box, but I really don't know. I think with this design, when you can see the center is not attached, so you have automatically a bit less cone area. I think the sensitivity is because of this tweeter, not because of the mid bass, but we're gonna see. We're gonna do some proper measurements on it. The tweeter looks nice. It's a very nice grill. It is metal all around. It looks like a chunky tweeter. The cone itself, it's weird because it looks like carbon fiber, but I don't know if you can get actual real carbon fiber for £130. Maybe some people are gonna say that carbon fiber is cheap. Probably. It looks like carbon fiber. It's not specified on the box or anything, but it just looks like it. The surround is a bit hard, so maybe we can expect, again, a bit higher sensitivity with a bit less low end. This is how it looks like compared to the recoil. The recoil has much softer surround. This is very, very soft and low FS driver. I would imagine this is gonna have a bit higher FS. The tweeter as well. This is a budget driver. This is like probably a third of the price or a quarter of the price of this. The mounting height is almost the same. The difference is that this surround is flat, flush with the basket. This has a protruding surround. The cone, again, the same for this one and for this one. This one, the Atoto looks like, yes, it does have a bigger coil. That's why it can handle a bit more power. Probably this is going to be like a 1-inch coil and maybe 1.5, 1.7-inch for the Atoto. Yes, it is a bigger coil. You can see it from here as well. If I'm going to turn them around, the Atoto has a much bigger and beefier magnet, so we can expect a bit better performance. Again, this is 50 watts, this is 60 watts. And when you look just at the basket, you can tell that this is very, very flimsy stamped steel basket because it is a super budget. This, it looks like it's powder coated and it is thick, but I still want to say that it's stamped steel. Maybe no, maybe it's cast, just not as thick as your usual cast basket. Maybe it's cast. It does look like a high quality driver, really. Like if you wouldn't have the Atoto brand, probably you would guess that this driver cost much more. However, from the box, we have no idea how it performs, and this is exactly why we're doing this testing. So now I'm gonna put them in my front doors. If you want to see how the deadening is done, how I tested these ones, watch a few videos back. But in this one, we're gonna put this one and we're gonna measure. I'm gonna tell you how they perform. There we go, just for you to show how it looks like in the door. Yes, I do put them upside down, and I did mention this in a previous video because I want my contacts to be on the top, because if I will have any water ingress from the bottom here, if there will be any water collecting, I don't want the terminals to get damaged from water, so everything is on top. Now this is how it looks like. Compared to the recoil, I had these before testing. I didn't like them. They do perform quite nice. Now these beefy. So yes, the basket is cast. It's not stamped steel because it is much thicker. But yeah, this is how it looks like. Now I'm gonna do the other side and then we can start measuring. These are the initial measurements of left and right side. This is no crossovers applied, no EQ, no nothing. The left side, which is on the passenger side, it's... Yes, I do have this dip, which is here with all the speakers that I'm measuring because it's due to the cabin. Cannot do anything about it. The tweeter range from about like 800 is very, very nice. The only problem that we have is quite early roll off. We can see like 13, 14K. It starts to roll off and there's not very, very top end like 16K where our hearing ends and where we hear all the airy stuff. We do have quite a big bump at about 100 to 150 hertz, which sounds like very full, but sometimes it could be a bit too much and it might be a bit too thick, especially on the vocals. But in general, this response is it's kind of okay. It's not bad. However, the right side, which is on the driver's side, is a very, very different picture. This is a mess and this is very bad. Now question why? Because the tweeter is down there in the kicks and you can see the level of the tweeter is way low. If we compare left to right, we can see this is kind of the same, this is kind of the same, and above 2K, the tweeter is probably like 6-7 dB down compared to the left side. Just because it is very, very off axis, being attenuated, we have extension only about to 12-13K, and then there's absolutely no top end. Again, this is expected just because of the location. This is not necessarily the driver, this is the factory location in my car, but the response is really bad. So now we can very quickly compare how a coax measures compared to a component. This is a component, if you remember the blue recoil speaker that I installed in the very beginning. This is very smooth. The only bad thing is this peak in the tweeter response, but in general, this is very, very smooth apart from this suck out. So we do have same suck out here, and it's very difficult to say if it's the tweeter level that is lower or here the bass level that is higher. The Atoto does play indeed lower. It does have like plus 5 dB at 40 and 30 hertz, even more at 30 hertz. So it does play lower. However, the higher frequencies are a bit attenuated just because with the components, you do have a tweeter much higher and it's not lost in the kicks being off axis. And especially you can see that in the upper frequency extension where component in the sail panel can play all the way up to 18, 19K, and this one starts to roll off quite early. On the right side, the driver's side, this is Atoto and this is the recoil. And here is the biggest difference, especially in the tweeter range. Here in the middle is a bit of a mess, like expected from factory locations in the doors. Again, Atoto plays a little bit lower, it does have a bit more bass. However, the biggest difference is in the tweeter range, where the difference is 10 or 15 decibels. And again, this is not necessarily the speaker itself, this is the fact that component is in the sail panel right next to you, and this one is basically behind your feet, hidden behind the panel. So coax drivers in the front doors, it's a big no. Unless you literally have no locations for a tweeter at all, it's still a very bad solution. So with the crossovers, I increased the level as well. This is the left side, I put 70 hertz crossover, and you can see it does look quite okay. This is my target, just for reference. Again, I had to increase the level because I wanted to see, you see this slope, it's not enough for me to see, so I increased the level again, remeasured it, and then applied EQ, and after EQ it's like this. So just a little bit in this like upper bass region, lower mid-range. This is kind of fine. I did boost this a little bit, 5 dB. It's fine, there's no excursion limits, no power limits, and just removing a few of these peaks from the tweeter range. And the response is kind of okay, kind of linear. Yes, the roll-off, as I mentioned, about 13, 14K, so you're missing that very, very top end. But again, tweeter is in the door, very, very low and being off axis. So the left side is fine. However, The right side, we started with this. So even if we're starting left and right, you can see they're kind of on the same level. However, the right side, the driver's side, has lower tweeter level. So instead of boosting all the tweeter level, because it would need quite a lot of boost, I had to cut all of this down. And after EQ, ended up with this. So you can see the tweeter is on the same level. Probably I could have boosted it maybe 2-3 dB, but you wouldn't win really much. Then I could get rid of this dip and this dip. And I had to cut 5, 10, 15 dB of level in this. But to be honest, this is a total mess anyway. So when you're cutting down to the lowest peaks, you do have quite linear frequency response. I would need to revisit this area a little bit. However, the level between left and right, you can see it's already like 6 dB difference. The left side, which is the passenger side, which is further away from you, is louder compared to the right side, which usually is the opposite. The closer driver usually is louder. However, just because of the very, very low tweeter level and all of this nonsense that's happening, I had to choose a very low target, and that's why I lost a lot of level. Now, obviously, when level matching, I had to pull this one down. I could have done the opposite and boost by 5 dB the right side, but I chose to pull it down. And after level matching, both of the sides summed something like this, which is a quite good sum, considering that is a coax driver. And then I added the subwoofer. So we started with this. I applied only the crossover. I think it's 80 Hertz. And I didn't use any EQ. And all the drivers, both coax and the sub, summed something like this. I did remove a little bit from the sub level, and everything is following the target like that. So if I apply some smoothing like 1/3, we can see that the response is okay. It's following the target down to like 45. So now the question is, how does it sound? And in general, it sounds okay. Tonality wise, it's kind of fine. The biggest problem that we're having is the level overall, because I had to cut this down just to EQ it flat. That's why the overall level, I lost about 10 decibels of level. So it doesn't get as loud as these little 4-inch drivers. The door vibrations, the tactile feel came back, because when you cross it at 70, it still vibrates the door a little bit. So when you rest your foot, you can, I do apologize, I'm losing my voice, something floating in the air. So tactile feel is back. I do not like it. I hate it. When I had these playing with the front subwoofer, it was perfect. Positioning is kind of okay. Left and right, you can catch the center. It's pretty stable, pretty fine. The only downside is that it's low. It's like somewhere inside the dash, not really on top of the dash, but somewhere there, especially like on the lower mid-range where the male vocals are and stuff, is somewhere there. High frequencies, for some reason, they do go a bit higher. The cymbals and stuff like on top of the dash, but lower frequencies are very, very low. And obviously, it's not because of the speakers, it's because of the locations, because everything is coming from that side very, very low. So psychoacoustics works in a very interesting way that even when you have tweeters like in the doors, like there on the sides, you will hear the center on top of the dash. So with high frequencies, it is high. With lower frequencies, it is very low. So now the question, do I like it and will I keep it? The short answer is obviously no. I do not like that the stage is very low. I do not like that I lost a lot of level. Probably I could bring the level up, increasing the channel gain or the amplifier gain, but then probably I will be risking damaging the tweeters because they are on passive crossover, just one cap, 6 dB slope. So there is a potential for that. And having coax in the front doors, I would not advise it unless you literally have, even if you have like tiny skinny pillars, you can, I don't know, just put a little tweeter somewhere, literally anywhere. Coax in the front door is a big, big no-no. Now, how these drivers perform objectively, We will look at this in the next video where I'll be comparing these against the two recall drivers that I have and against the Illusion Audio C6. We will see what the tweeter does, we will see what the mid bass does, we will see the distortion. We're going to objectively compare all the drivers, but I'm going to go back to those. There's just simply not enough volume for me. I don't want to damage them, and I really don't like when the stage is down there. It's really not my cup of tea. So again, I'm gonna highlight, it's not the speakers themselves necessarily, is the location in the car, is the response, the really bad response from the door locations. The speakers themselves, we're gonna see how they're gonna perform. But for now, that's it. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.